We are super happy to see all of your faces, and thanks for spending, part of your Sunday night with us too. Go Chiefs. I think they're still playing. So I'm here in Kansas rooting for them. Anyway, before we begin, I want to just cover a few things with you. If you guys want to get notified automatically of our free Zoom classes, you can actually follow us on Eventbrite. This is kind of a new thing I didn't realize, but they'll automatically send you an email saying, hey, SD Sisters are having another Zoom class. And that way you don't have to wait on someone to give you the link. The other place we post that you might not know is our Instagram, and that is the THE_ESTI_sisters. And so we also post their notification lists. And of course, that we rep for, we have those posted in our private group. Okay. So let's move on, Lynn.
I do the screen share.
Okay, so tonight's class is an intro to Hevatox. And this is a relatively new line, TOV Medical, and it involves topical neurotoxins. So we're very excited about this masterclass. So today's presentation, we're going to cover just briefly a little bit about who Lynn and I are, AO Medical, TOV, what their role is in all of this. We're going to cover the evolution, safety, and effectiveness of botulinum A. We're also going to be covering injectable and topical forms of that. And then we're going to dive into the Hevatox line by TOV Medical. We will also share with you a great home care regimen for you, your clients. And then some people are already using some of these products in the treatment room. So we're going to share with you the protocol that is available to you. And then, like I said earlier, we're going to then ask for Q&A or Q all your questions. So we'll cover that. I am Rachel Robbins, and I am a licensed esthetician. I have a master's in business marketing. I was in corporate America and then left to have a better life, and it is a better life. I've been doing skincare for almost 20 years in Kansas, and I spent the bulk of my time out in California, although Kansas is really, the years are going by here, which is crazy how time flies. Lynn Hero is actually my sister, and she has a business degree in economics and international relations. And some of you may not know, but she speaks 3 different languages. And then Lynn also is oncology aesthetics trained. So both of us together have a combined almost 40 years of experience in the skincare industry, and then coming from a business background prior. So how SD Sisters came to form? Probably about 7 years ago, I found out about the needle-free filler facial that was from Sculpla. Now it's called HOP. I heard about it on Harper's Bazaar magazine. Also, they were listed as top 10 must-have bridal facials on Forbes magazine. So it was pretty exciting. The facial is phenomenal. And then since then, AO Medical has created a whole retail line around that, and actually even some back bar items as well. And I shared those with my sister, and she started using them, and she absolutely fell in love with the treatments and the home care and the devices. And then she started sharing them because she had just created a mentoring program and business coaching. And so she started sharing with them, about these amazing treatments. And Lynn and I both continued to just, believe in what AO Medical was doing and how phenomenal this was. When people were coming out of COVID, businesses were kind of going down, some ended sadly. Ours actually was flourishing, and so much so that it was even better than we started prior to COVID. And we largely attribute that to having these unbelievable treatments and protocols available to us, where we're getting phenomenal results from our clients. So that is how a partnership with AO Medical formed. So we are now reps and educators for them. And some of you, well, a lot of you actually are already working with us. And when you enter our rep code SD Sisters, when you check out, you get the free shipping above 200. But also that allows us to continue to bring to you free classes and all the support that we provide. There's a lot of you that have other reps, and you would continue getting support from them. And then you're always welcome to attend our free education like tonight. And also if we do any on-site training, you're absolutely welcome. And as I just alluded to, Lynn does business coaching and mentoring. She actually was my mentor 19 years ago. And unbelievable. So I know a lot of you in here are already doing that with her. If you're interested, you can go to our website, which is under our little picture there, thesdsisters.com, and there's an opportunity for you to request more information on that. Okay, Lynn. So who's AO Medical? Lydia King is the owner. AO Medical is very different than other skincare companies because they are both manufacturer, part owner of the HOP line and the Hevatox line that we're covering tonight. And they're also a distributor of other high-end, very reputable lines that are found throughout Korea. Some, to mention here, O2 Derm, Dr. Esty, Duomore, Skin Culture. And so we have access to multiple lines, not just one. So if you go, and you're a Redken client, let's say if you're in the hair industry, now you have access to 6 other lines that are phenomenal in one shop. So when you have that available, you have purchasing power. So there's gift with purchase. There are free shipping over $200. The other great thing is there are no minimums and no minimum opening orders. So if I forget to order a product, I don't feel awful, right? Because there's not a handling fee, which a lot of companies charge now. So also the no selling on Amazon, and there is no undercutting. So I can't go and post a product that's 200 for $100 online. I'll get called out, and they actually do search the internet. So that actually is one of probably the most unique today, in my opinion, because all of the other companies that I've used, my clients, thank goodness, a lot of them obviously, are loyal to me, but it's kind of tempting just to go and get a day delivery on some of the products. So we are thrilled working with AO Medical. They have amazing customer service, and they really believe in their products and also in helping us too. So there's AO Medical, the umbrella, the distributor, and also the part owner of the HOP. But then there's on your boxes, if some of you have already purchased the products, there's a little TOV Medical. That is the manufacturer. So they are a premier skincare formulator, renowned HOP line. And I say renowned, meaning they are all over the world. It's actually amazing how many countries they are in that are using needle-free filler facial and all the HOP line, and then also the Hevatox line. So cutting edge products, unique delivery systems that don't require injections. And that is really where Lynn and I, many others, see the industry heading, is how can we minimize, the injections and all that, and focus on other things that can actually heal and help firm and tone and make us have looking skin.
Okay, so you may be wondering why, when we're going to be talking about the Hevatox product line, why we're going to be doing a little bit of history, talking a little bit about the evolution of the botulinum I guess you would call it an ingredient now. They're using it. It's the ingredient that's being used in injectables for medical purposes and cosmetic purposes. And I wanted to give this little history because many of you will get clients that ask, specifically, not necessarily, they probably know a little bit about Botox, but they'll be like, safety. I want to know about the safety. And then they want to know the evolution, like, well, will topical Botox, react the same way as injectable Botox, et cetera, et cetera. So we always love to give a little bit deeper dive into the background of whatever products and technology that we're bringing to you. So first and foremost, in 1879, this is when the botulinum toxin was actually first discovered, over in Europe. And they actually discovered that there were 7 different types of this. And the type A, so if you ever hear us talk about Bontem A, or you hear BOTNTA, that is talking about the botulinum type A, which is the type or that's being used in the injectables and in topical neurotoxins as well. So just to keep that in mind. So there are 7 different types, but type A is the one that we're using and we talk about. So again, first discovered just the disease itself in 1879. Back in the 1970s, it was first investigated for possible medical applications by an American ophthalmologist named Dr. Alan Scott. And he was initially looking at the use of the botulinum A toxin for the use with eye issues, and specifically with retinal detachment initially, and then strabismus, which is where across eyes, and it was initially going to be used in applications for eye issues that clients were having. So he successfully was able to treat a client with retinal detachment. And then this actually led to the further research, and that let him be known as the doctor of Botox. So he's actually known as the doctor of Botox. So in 1989, the FDA approved this Botox, his actual ingredient, his product, for therapeutic use. Therapeutic use meaning non-cosmetic use, so in medical applications. In 1991, Dr. Scott sold the rights of this drug to Allergan, and then in 1982, Allergan rebranded as Botox. So actually, out of all the different brands that are out there today, because there are other neurotoxins available from around the world, Korea even has a couple of their own. Botox is the one that is primarily used today for medicinal purposes. And then these other brands tend to get FDA approval for use in cosmetic purposes. So in 2002, Botox began using the botulinum A for cosmetic purposes. And I'm just going to give you a little bit of information on some of the other things that they were using it for as well. So separate from eye conditions, blepharospasms, other diseases that cause muscle contractions, chronic migraines, overactive bladder, severe underarm sweating. And they also have started to recently use it for anxiety as well. So the reason I'm mentioning this as far as some of the medical applications is when we tend to think of like safety, and because we want to really let you guys know that this has been used for such a long time, way longer than used for cosmetic purposes, the actual neurotoxin itself, and successfully being used for all these different medical applications. So by the time it came in and it was being used for cosmetic purposes, we already knew that it was safe. Okay. So typically, any of the most of the risk or downside to botulism being used or botulinum A being used typically tends to be at the injection site, and is where most of the risk is. And a lot of times it actually has to do with injector error. So if an injector isn't very skilled and places it in the incorrect place on the face or body, or not having a good enough understanding of that, where they're locating or placing the injection, that's where a lot of the issues happen. So Botox has been deemed safe now for over 45 years. And then the other thing I wanted to mention to you is when people say, hey, well, Botox, who would want to put a toxin in their body, right? So one of the things that I try to talk to my clients about, because you will have clients that are not choosing to get topical or injectable neurotoxins because of not just safety, but just in general thinking, why would I put a toxin in my body? So then if you're trying to sell them or say, hey, I have something that is actually a topical neurotoxin, they may have the same question of like, well, is that something safe? Is that something I'd want to put in my body as well? So think of homeopathy. So I do a lot of work with natural forms of wellness and healing for my own issues that I've dealt with many, many years. And homeopathy uses small, tiny amounts of ingredients, sometimes extracts, things like that. I'll give you two examples. One is arsenic and the other is belladonna. These are two substances which in any significant quantity can be toxic to the human body. But in small doses, they can have positive impact on various health issues that people are dealing with. So if you're talking to a client, you let them know that the use of Botox, for example, topical neurotoxin in the medical realm, they're using just a tiny amount for localized effects. So it actually is really fascinating to find out that when they've done research, it doesn't really actually get into the bloodstream. It stays very localized. So that's really important to know and to be able to share with your clients. So a couple other things. Then in 2008 was when they actually had the first clinical trials for topical Botox cream. Okay. And then in 2010, there is a company called Agileure that actually was approved in several European countries, prescription only for topical neurotoxin. This is again, the botulinum A. And then in 2015 and 2016, at least in the United States, there was phase 3 clinical trials that were starting for topical neurotoxin. And these were being done by Allergan, again, the maker of Botox. and then also another company as well. And they seem to, if you try to Google, there's not really much progress since that time. And partly just because when you are trying to go through, even with a topical, I don't know if you're aware that topical products in the US don't usually have to go through that same process that like injectables would, but these drug companies are trying to do that same process, and things just take a lot longer. But in Korea, for example, they've already been using, and they have had a patent, and I'm going to talk about that in a little bit with the talking about the Hevatox line. They have been using topical neurotoxin safely. They've gone through clinical trials in Korea, and they are already taking it to market and in the form of our Hevatox line. That's why we're really excited to bring that to you guys. So we've had the Hevatox products for the last couple of years, I would say, Rachel, right? Year and a half, at least a couple products. We have the introduction of a third product that we're going to talk about in the last month or so, so very recent. And we actually are going to be sharing with you guys a new product that'll be coming out hopefully the end of the year or the beginning of next year. So we're just trying to give you this little background in terms of how long neurotoxins been around, the safety, and then we're going to do a little bit deeper dive here into some of the uses specifically with the topical neurotoxin. Okay. So as far as alternatives, topical neurotoxins are a welcome alternative for clients that, again, do not want to have anything injected into the body. Also, pain and less risk, because again, if most of the side effects have been happening at the injection site, when you do not have an injection and you're using a topical neurotoxin, you eliminate that, which is really wonderful. A unique delivery system. This is something that may come up with your clients too. I mean, we had this kind of come up with PLLA a little bit, where people talk about the botulinum A molecule being larger. So the Koreans have figured out how to use a patented delivery system to allow that to be partnered with a peptide to be able to be penetrated into the skin down to the dermal layer. So that is really important because, again, sometimes when you're looking at injectable ingredients, a lot of times the molecules are very large, but when you need to try to get them to penetrate topically, there has to be some other delivery system or delivery mechanism involved in order for that to be effective. So the cosmetic uses using topical neurotoxin, they're going to be following along the same lines as the injectables. They're not going to be the same in terms of quantitatively, the equal results, meaning when somebody gets an injectable neurotoxin, it is going to be shooting down into the muscle layer. It's going to be, the intention is to cause I wouldn't say a complete paralysis, but definitely a limiting of the muscles. And when you're looking at a topical application of a neurotoxin, it is going to have a more superficial effect that's going to have a more of a tightening and a firming as opposed to a paralyzing effect, okay? Because it's not going as deep, but it's still going to have a lot of the results that we're looking for in terms of working with the fine lines, wrinkles, crow's feet, a tightening and lifting. For those of you not familiar with Botox or, for example, topical neurotoxin being injected other than in the Levin limes or crow's feet, it is injected in small doses along the jawline to create a tightening effect. Okay, so hence using topical neurotoxin will have a firming, a lifting, and a tightening effect to the area that it's being applied to, which is awesome. Another thing that topical neurotoxins can be used for successfully, and there is some science to back this up, which is really great. And what I think Rachel and I'll do is when we're not going to like get super techie here, but we do have like articles, research articles that do talk about even topical neurotoxins being used for hyperhidrosis, for example, which is excessive sweating. So I have clients that actually have gotten regularly, it's 40 injections per underarm to control underarm sweating. And so there is some studies and some indication that topical neurotoxin can be supportive for people that are dealing with that. I don't deal with excessive sweating, but I have really in the last, I don't know how many years, have really tried to get away from using aluminum in my deodorant. So I therefore am kind of stuck with more of the just deodorant as opposed to the antiperspirant part. And so I have begun to just experiment with using one of our products, the exfoliating pads, after I've cleansed in the morning, after I bathe, and I'm using part of a pad on under each arm. And I have noticed a reduction, at least in odor. And I don't, again, have a ton of sweating, but I have noticed a shift in my body chemistry, and I'm excited about that because I have started to offer that to a few clients that have been getting Botox injections, but do not want to do that, or just having to extend the life of as well. And that's something also to understand with the topical neurotoxins here, that for clients that are already getting injectables or getting topical neurotoxin, whether that's Botox, whether that's Dysport, Xeomin, there's lots of different brands out there right now. This could actually just help to extend the life of that, the treatments that they're getting, which I think is very helpful and supportive. In terms of safety, in working with topical neurotoxin, again, they have done studies that show that when you're applying the topical neurotoxin, there is no detectable levels. They cannot find any toxin getting into the bloodstream, which I think is very important. So it stays very localized in the dermis area. And I think that's really important. So if your clients are concerned about getting injectables and they're like, well, how do I know if this is going to be a safer alternative? You can let them know that studies show that there is no entry into the bloodstream. It's going to stay localized where we're putting it on the skin. Now, as far as results, I wanted to give you some results. Of course, we have some on the AO Medical website. There are pictures and there's some studies that show using the main delivery system that we use with the Hevatox product line that I'm going to talk about a little bit more in depth in a second. But there are results from the studies of the other companies that have been putting through for the clinical trials in terms of getting information on, is topical neurotoxin, topical botulinum A effective? So I just want to read a little bit of that too for you. Okay, one second, safety, here we go. Okay, so basically they had worked with, for the studies, they worked with people that have had no history of even injectable neurotoxins, so that they could have people just on a level playing field. They knew that they didn't have anything that was left over, so to speak. And they noticed that within the first 2 weeks of treatment, the people that were using the topical neurotoxin definitely noticed less wrinkling, a fading of dark circles under the eyes, and less hyperpigmentation in the treatment area. So again, that is where they were applying the product. At week 4, they noticed that more than 85% of the group that was using the topical cream noticed that their wrinkles had improved by at least 75%, whereas the placebo group that was using nothing saw 0 change in their skin. So lots of good indication to suggest that, again, with the delivery systems, and again, these other companies, by the way, had to figure out how to combine with peptides as well to be able to bind the molecule, the neurotoxin molecule, to get into the skin to be effective. So it shows that even though it is considered a larger molecule when it's being injected, that the delivery systems that they've come up with, and the same thing with Korea, that they are effective to get into the skin to cause a positive impact in terms of what we're looking for, what our clients are looking for. Okay, so Hevatox, this is our wonderful Hevatox line by TOV Medical. And again, this is kind of our sister line to the HOP, House of PLLA filler line. So what's really awesome now, you guys can imagine, is that you have a line that really focuses, HOP really focuses on filler, on stimulating collagen. And, we know when we age and when our clients age, it's that, we do lose volume, right? So we need to have that overall kind of, I feel like youth is plump, right? Youth is plump. So we want to have plump, we want to have fuller cheeks, volume restored. But at the same time, we also have drooping. Gravity works, right? The effect of sun, UV damage, and just gravity as we age. So being able to combine these two product lines together gives this more well-rounded anti-aging effect for our clients. Rachel and I like to call it well, actually, it's called, in the treatment room, you call it a needleless facelift, but we call it your home care needleless facelift regimen, okay? Because combining the two product lines, one is going to focus on tightening and lifting, the other for plumping. So the Koreans came up and formulated Hevatox, which in Korea, it's actually known as HETOX, but here in the United States, it's called Hevatox. in 2020. And Koreans have really led the way because, and what I mean by that is even though the US and the US market starting in 2008, we have noticed that there have been some companies that have been trying to bring topical neurotoxins to the market. However, that hasn't materialized yet. So the Koreans actually, in all their research and coming up with the delivery system that we're going to talk about in a second, actually brought this product line to the market. So we would say, hey, they led the way. They brought us what we wanted. And Koreans, again, for those of you who follow K-beauty, they're really focused on preventative skincare. Back in, when kids are 10, 12 years old, they're getting regular skincare regimens. They're going in for facials. They use a lot of anti-inflammatory ingredients, a lot of wound healing ingredients. So they really, if they can find approaches that are going to be less invasive, that's what they're going to go for. So it's no surprise that they actually really push to find something like this to be able to be needle-free, just like we are with the HOP line as well. So the active delivery system that the Hevatox line uses is the SP1 NPTOC delivery mechanism. And this has been patented. Actually, this technology was patented in 2004. And then it was picked up and started to be used by Hevatox in 2020. So there is there's several years of clinical trials that were done in Korea. They have the equivalent of Koreans' FDA approval with the clinical trials to prove that this delivery system is safe and effective. So that's really important. And so again, for those of you who want to know more specifics on the website, they have more of the science if you want to geek out kind of on that as far as the actual technology, but it's very fascinating. So we have information on the actual patent, the technology itself, and we have another document that's many, many pages. So again, I just wanted to bring the highlights here to you today. So for the Hevatox product line, we currently have 3 products. We have the Hevatox PHA, AHA exfoliating and firming pads, and I'm going to go through each one of them individually. We have the Hevatox Gold Ampule, and as of August of this year, we have the Hevatox Gold Eye Lift Cream, which Rachel and I were so excited to help kind of formulate in terms of giving some feedback on some key ingredients that we wanted to have. And happy to say that in that Gold Eye Cream, there's actually about 30 ingredients that are awesome. So when you look at the packaging, a lot of times Rachel and I are trying to help with, picking out which key ingredients we want to highlight. And sometimes it's so hard because there are so many amazing ingredients in these products. So it's not just a couple ingredients that are active. There's actually quite a few active ingredients that do many, many things. We also wanted to let you guys know that we have been kind of working behind the scenes, being little testers or guinea pigs for a future Hevatox product, which we're hoping is going to be coming out later this year or early next year, which is going to be a Hevatox lifting moisturizer. And I have been just like gaga over that, loving it, because when I put it on, from the moment I put it on, my skin feels tighter. So we love the fact that just like with the HOP product line, we're adding new products regularly, filling in the line, and we're going to be doing the same with the Hevatox line as well. So a complete group of products for your clients and for you. Okay, so the first product we have here is the Hevatox exfoliating and firming pads, and looks like this. So for those of you who can see me up in the corner, when we do go to Q&A, I can kind of show you again what they look like. Comes with a pack of 55 pads in here. So all of the Hevatox products will have in common, they will contain this SP1 NTOC peptide botulinum A toxin ingredient in it. So that's a given. So all the products in the Hevatox line will have that in there. This particular product is a daily exfoliating product. It has polyhydroxy acid, and the one that we're using for this is the gluconolactone. Polyhydroxy acids, for those of you not so familiar, are a group of hydroxy acids that are very hydrating, very good for sensitive skin, so all skin types, so very gentle. And then we're using the alpha hydroxy acid glycolic acid, which is a small acid, again, very targeted, great for anti-aging. And then we have a couple other key extracts in here, which we just picked out. But again, there are many others. We just focused on key ones that help to, again, stimulate collagen production, really great for healthy cells. and wound healing. So again, you'll find that common thread with the Korean skincare lines that we're using, the HOP lines and the Hevatox lines, that really good anti-inflammatory. So you don't have to worry about any kind of negative reaction for a client. So how would you use these pads? I use the pads, and actually a little tip for you guys, if you haven't picked this up yet, one of the things that I like to do is the pads are pretty big, and unless you're using them full face, neck, décolleté, and maybe hands, you can go ahead and cut the pad in half, okay? So there's enough on here. There's two different sides to the pad. One feels a little bit more texture than the other, and you're going to start with one side of the pad, and then you're going to flip over and use the other side of the pad. So this is something that's safe enough to use twice a day. And if you want to know, what my preference is, if a client's really trying to, get results faster, the more you use it, the faster it's going to build, because the results are cumulative, just like with the HOP products. So if you can use it twice a day, go ahead and use it twice a day. It is safe to use it twice a day. And we have a suggested protocol that's going to be coming up in a little bit. So we'll show you when. So this is going to help with gentle exfoliation. It's going to help with skin tightening, firming, hyperpigmentation as well. And also, like I said, for those clients that are dealing with the hyperhidrosis or the excessive sweating, this might be a nice alternative for them to try if they're dealing with that. Now, what I've been doing, just to keep it, because my underarm areas are kind of small, I've actually been cutting them into quarter-size pads for my underarms. And then I'll use 1/4 pad, and I'll just kind of go here, flip it over, and do the other side. So that seems to be working so far. I've been doing that just once a day, and then I go ahead and I apply my deodorant. Now, I don't shave. I've done many years of waxing, so I really don't have much hair under here. So I probably would wait a day. If you guys were going to shave, I probably would just then do it at night, or do it, split it up 12 to 24 hours after you've shaved. I really haven't tried post shaving. I don't know if it would really be irritating at all, but because it is a slight exfoliant, I probably would just minimize doing it directly after shaving or waxing. Next, we have a lovely product, and this is called the Hevatox Gold Ampule, and we can shake it up here, and I don't know if you could see this, but it's got tons of little actual gold flakes in it, and a really decadent serum. So again, the number one ingredient here is, the common ingredient is the SP1 TOC peptide combination with the botulinum A. We've got the Centella asiatica extract that is used in a lot of the HOP products, Dr. SD products as well. And it actually is Gotu-Kola, and it's considered a medicinal herb in Europe. And it's really awesome for wound healing. We've got the niacinamide, which is also really great. It's actually acts kind of as a vitamin C, a natural vitamin C, but it's a B vitamin, but really good for healthy skin, really good for hyperpigmentation. Sodium hyaluronate, we love our HAs. Gold, again, really good for stimulating collagen, wound healing, the integrity of skin. So what I really love about these products is, even if there would be something that's really active in here, let's just say, okay, would my skin react to Botox or, topical neurotoxin, for example, having all these extra ingredients in here really buffer the product. So the skin just feels super dewy, super hydrated, and really supportive, never feels dry. So even though you think, well, I'm putting these, these pads on, for example, and I'm putting this ampule on, something that's going to tighten, my skin does not feel dried out, which is really important. The adenosine, again, which is really calming and soothing the skin. The Tremella fusiformis is actually snow mushroom, which is a natural form of kojic acid. So again, going to be super beneficial for hyperpigmentation. And another ingredient, the Scleroteria, is really great, again, for stimulating collagen as well. So this is going to be great for gentle exfoliation, skin tightening, firming, and for nano treatments. So we're going to talk a little bit about how to use this in the treatment room. This particular product can be used for nano. We have had people ask us if it can be used for microneedling. There are going to be some ways that we're going to share with you how you can use it in the treatment room, but currently, because of the gold in here, it's not going to be okay or for microneedling, but it is safe for nano, and that's what we're going to recommend when we're talking about one of our protocols. So just to let you know if that happens to be a question that you have. So next we have our brand new, amazing eye cream. And it has the same top that our HOP applicator has. So if you wanted to keep this in the refrigerator just to be really cool, you can. I'm excited to tell you guys that I have been using this for probably, I think like 4 months, Rachel, maybe. We were given different samples to try as they were going through the different evolution of creating the product. And so when Rachel and I are trying out products, I would say myself in particular, because I do a lot of the testing for you guys to give you guys feedback and with my clients, I actually, even though I typically use the HOP promoter repair and eye cream for creating volume, because I do have volume loss, when I'm working with a new product, I tend to stop everything else and just really focus on that new product so that I can really see the changes or any changes that I'm going to see from that new product. So I will tell you that I was starting to get a lot of thin, fine lines underneath my eyes, a lot of crepiness. And even though I was using lots of product, taking care of my skin, I will tell you that I was trying to have my daughter blow up and do some pictures under my eyes, and we're just not getting the best application in the bathroom, but or photos. But I would say that other than my right eye, which I have like kind of a natural permanent little puff here too, just a little bit of loose skin, my little crepiness and my wrinkles almost are completely gone, which is wonderful. I also use this between my 11 lines, which is one of the areas that I like to use, and above my brows as well. So again, key ingredients in here. Again, we have our delivery system with our topical botulinum A, along with our peptide delivery. So this is the SP1 and PTOC. We've got caffeine and coffee bean extract. So for those of you not familiar with this ingredient or these two ingredients, they really, really help with puffiness. So think of your HOP promoter repair as your filler eye product, the one that's helping to rebuild the adipose tissue with the volufiline. So that's for people that have hollows. But for people that are dealing with puffiness, fine lines, wrinkles, crepiness, hyperpigmentation, want firming and tightening, this product is going to be your go-to. This is going to be your answer. Now, for those of you who are like me that are like, hey, I have hollows under my eyes, right? But I also have fine lines and I want to work on the little crow's feet. I go ahead and would recommend using the two. Now, you can use one in the morning, let's say your HOP one. You can use your Hevatox Gold Eye Lift Cream at night, or you can go ahead and mix the two. So I will eventually be mixing the two because I want to be using them both twice a day. But that would be just a really good indication. So if you had a client that was really just dealing with puffiness, didn't really have volume loss, you could just have them go ahead and use the new Hevatox one. That would be fine. So gold is also, again, very healing, very anti-aging, very supportive of healthy tissue. We've got natural retinol, which is the bok oil. We've got retinaldehyde. So for those of you not familiar with this, initially when we were looking at this product, we were looking at having retinol in there. Well, retinol is actually a two-step conversion to retinoic acid. And because of that, retinol tends to be more drying and more sensitizing to the skin. So retinaldehyde is actually 11 times stronger than retinol. So you get all these extra benefits of tightened cell renewal, stimulating collagen production, but without the downside of the retinol. So it's safe to use even for sensitive skin and also safe to use twice a day. So that is why we push to have the retinaldehyde in there. And we're so excited that that is in there because it's amazing. And again, even for the most sensitized skin, retinaldehyde is not going to be an issue. We've got ubiquinone, another great antioxidant, pantolactone, madagasoside. These are also really good for calming and soothing the skin, great for any irritation. And then we've got our snow mushroom extract, which is our natural form of kojic that's going to be helping with lightening and brightening. And again, for those of you, when you do have your Hevatox eye product, you're going to look at all these ingredients. We highlight some, probably like just the top, I would say like 6 or 7 on the box. But again, when I was trying to figure out which ones to really pull up for you guys, there were like 30 of them. So not kidding you, like 30 amazing ingredients in this product. So again, safe for use all around the eye area. I would definitely use it in the 11 lines. Okay. And again, for depuffing, tightening, brightening, and lifting. So this is a really amazing new eye cream that no one else has. So we're really happy to bring this one to you, just like the HOP one. No one really has anything that really actually builds volume under the eyes. So we're really excited that with our TOV products we have that's special, something special for you and your clients. Okay, home care. So you guys may be saying, how do we fit this in? Now, I came up with 2 different regimens. We came up with a regimen for you guys for if you have clients that are already using the HOP home care, which is the House of PLLA, how they would add that in. And then we also came up with a separate protocol in case you guys happen to be working with clients that are not currently on HOP product lines, but you're like, well, where would that fit into a regimen using a cleanser, a moisturizer, a sunscreen? So we came up with these 2 different protocols for you guys. So here we go. And feel free to screenshot. We also, like always, for people that want the slide deck, if you guys want to, in the chat, let us know name, email that you want the slide deck. We can also work on getting that to you as well. Okay. So for the AM, and again, this is going to be for those customers that are working with the HOP products, and we have an AM and a PM protocol. I did include it if they were going to use it in the AM. Again, if a client only wants to use it at night, just have them use it at night and follow that nighttime protocol. Again, if a client doesn't have every HOP product, totally fine. We have a lot of clients that do. So I just kind of wanted, it's always easier to pull things out, but this would be if a client was using the full product line, where they would put it. So in the morning, they would do a cleanse, and we're happy to let you guys know, we did mention it a couple weeks ago in the HOP home care class, that we have a brand new HOP Pro Volumizing Mousse that's going to be coming out in the next few weeks. So stay tuned for that. It is wonderful. But in the meantime, we've been using the Dr. SD Moisture Gel Cleanser, which has 5 ceramides, 5 probiotics, really good for anti-aging, really good for sensitized skin. So again, after cleansing, then they would go ahead and use the daily Hevatox exfoliating pads. Again, if you're doing face and neck, a half a pad is sufficient. Okay. Then you're going to go ahead and do the gold ampule. And then you're going to be using, your clients would use the HOP moisture repair cream, and that could be the normal dry or the oily acne, whichever they prefer. Then you would use your HOP repair cream or your Hevatox 24 karat gold eye lift cream. And then you're going to be using the stem cell mist to kind of like finish off everything. And then you have your all mineral SPF sun cushion, or the all mineral SPF sunscreen, or the sun cushion. The PM is going to follow the same regimen. The difference is the second product that the clients would be using is the daily skin prep. And if you're going to use that, what we recommend doing is you would take half of the Hevatox pad, pump 1 or 2 pumps of the skin prep on the pad. Then you're going to be having the client apply it topically, full face and neck, and they can do the décolleté as well. Then they're going to apply the Cavi serum in between the gold ampule. So that's going to be new. So once you've applied the exfoliating and you apply the Cavi, you're going to let that bubble up. The client will let it bubble up for about 45 seconds. Then you gently massage that in. Then you apply the gold ampule, then the moisture repair cream, whichever one is suitable for the client. Then they're going to add either the Hevatox Gold Eye Lift Cream or the HOP Repair Cream, and then finish off again with the Step Cell Mist. Okay. Now, here we go, and we added one whole protocol here, just keeping it super simple so that if somebody, again, wasn't using the HOP or the full HOP line, there would be a basic cleanse. There would be the daily exfoliating pads, the gold ampule, moisturizer, the gold eye lift cream, the all mineral SPF, but it could be any kind of, you know, and I prefer just happen to be working with all mineral sunscreen. So any kind of an all mineral SPF. Nighttime would be cleanse, your Hevatox exfoliating pads, the Hevatox gold ampule, moisturizer, and then finishing up with the eye cream as well. Okay, now, something else that I learned in doing my research for you guys, which is really exciting, is that in my research of these companies that are trying to bring topical neurotoxin to the market, they found that in addition to the delivery system, using this peptide delivery system, this nanotechnology to get it into the skin, okay, another thing that can further help penetrate the product itself is iontophoresis, which another word for that would be galvanic. So we want to talk a little bit about the Tonesher device. So the Tonesher, for those of you not familiar with this is a phenomenal little device from AO Medical. The reason I'm bringing this up here is because you can use it in the treatment room, but it would also make a very fabulous product to retail to clients who are on the Hevatox line. Because in the research for the topical neurotoxin, because they found that iontophoresis or galvanic would help further penetrate the molecule, think about your clients, how if they had this available to them at home, they would get an additional benefit. So we're going to talk about the two different parts of this particular device and how both heads are going to be able to assist in product penetration. So first and foremost, we have the cold plasma head. So for those of you not familiar, Rachel and I did do a class a few weeks ago on cold plasma, and we did a specific deep dive into the Dr. Platon device. However, the Tonesher device is like the companion product. It's from the same manufacturer, and it does have a cold plasma head. So the cold plasma head would be swapped out for the galvanic head. It has two different levels, and cold plasma allows for product absorption to increase by up to 24% post use for the next 12 hours. So if your client was going to be applying, whether it's the HOP products at home, the Hevatox products at home, if they went ahead, and the Tonesher device, by the way, is cold plasma device, is safe enough to use every day. So if a client, let's say at nighttime for the nighttime regimen, cleanse their face, and they did just a few minute treatment with cold plasma, that's always done on clean, dry skin. Whatever products they put on after is going to go in that much deeper. So they're going to get even a bigger bang for their buck, more product penetration. Once they apply the products, okay, they can then switch to the galvanic head and then start to work with the galvanic to penetrate the gold ampule, for example, any of the products that were added. And so it can even be after you finished with all the products being added, because it's going to help to penetrate everything further into the skin, whether it's the polylactic acid from the HOP line, or it's the SP1 NPTOC from the Hevatox line. So again, this is a phenomenal product. Like I said, it's going to just really augment the results for your clients. But just remember that if you have clients that are buying products for you and you really want them to maximize the benefits, having them have this little handheld device, the Tonesher, would give them that extra bang for their buck. So this is something that we wanted to mention to you for potential use for home care for your clients. Now we're going to talk about Hevatox in the treatment room. Okay. So I'm so excited to bring this to you because I've been working on this new protocol. I would call it kind of an intensive lifting treatment. If you guys want to call it a facial, that's usually when you add in a little bit of massage or some extra little pampering. So it's totally up to you whether you guys want to call some of these treatments or facials, up to you. So I would recommend starting, we have a phenomenal new pre-cleanse product. Skin Culture, for those of you who don't know, it's one of the product lines that AO Medical carries. It was reformulated recently. We pulled out the artificial fragrance, and it's a decadent oil cleanser. So we'd recommend doing a pre-cleanse. Then you're going to cleanse with the new HOP PLLA cleansing mousse, which is called the volumizing mousse. And then we would recommend doing a little bit of a cold plasma treatment, again, because cold plasma is going to increase product penetration. So for those of you who have just the Tonesher, go ahead and use your Tonesher plasma head, 10 minutes, 5 minutes on each side of the face. For those of you who have the Dr. Platon, you're going to use the Dr. Platon 10 minutes, total, 5 minutes on each side of the face. So this is also going to help not only with increased product penetration, but also skin tightening, which is one of the benefits that we want to see and expect to see from this treatment. Next, you're going to take 1 pump of the skin prep from the HOP product line, and you're going to use a full pad of the Hevatox exfoliating pads, because we want to make sure that we have enough of that product that's going to penetrate into the skin. And I would recommend going ahead and doing full face, neck, and décolleté in this treatment. So then you're going to be applying that all over face and neck. You should have plenty to apply again on the décolleté. If you want to charge more and you're going to do a full treatment on the décolleté, I would go ahead and do that. We'll talk a little bit in a second about pricing, potential pricing for this treatment, but I definitely recommend that if you're going to do a treatment on the hands or you're going to do treatment on the décolleté, to definitely do an add-on for that. I always include the neck in my treatments. Okay, so next we can perform a nano treatment with the Hevatox Gold Ampule. So when you get your gold ampule, you're going to notice that it comes with a syringe. When you're using for day-to-day use, you're going to have it put in here. You're going to shake it up, and the client's going to take out just the teeniest amount. It's like a pea size amount. Okay, so that would be for daytime use. If you guys are going to be using this for a full face and neck nano treatment, I would recommend you guys doing a full syringe. Okay, and that's what you're going to be using for the full face and neck. Okay, so the great thing about this though is as you get this added to your syringe, you can set the syringe down. It's not going to leak out, and then you just use it as you go along. And if there is any extra left, you can go ahead and just add it back to the ampule here. So go ahead and do some nano treatment. Then after that, I'm going to recommend you guys use, because all this so far is being kept on the skin, right? All this is being left on. Our brand new 24 karat gold volumizing sheet mask from the HOP product line. I would recommend putting that on the face, because this is going to now help with extra plumping. It still helps with tightening and firming as well. It has retinoldehyde in it as well. And you're going to go ahead and now do some of your galvanic work on top of that to, again, further penetrate the Hevatox products and to also penetrate the PLLA that is in the mask. Okay, so we're maximizing results here by layering products and also by using devices to help further penetrate and increase product absorption. So you can also do some microcurrent if you have that. It's going to help with product penetration as well. If you wanted to do the Time Master Pro, you can do that as well. Just to keep in mind for you guys, just so you know, this comes up every so often. When you're using sheet mask with the Time Master Pro, and for those of you not familiar with that device, it is a device that it combines ultrasound, electromuscle stimulation, and LED. It has to be used on top of a biocellulose mask, and the 24 karat gold mask from HOP is a biocellulose mask. So that's why we can use the TMP on top of it. So again, go ahead and do about maybe 5 minutes or so, 10 minutes, whatever you guys want to do. If you want to have this be a little bit more like a pampering facial for the client, even though this is pretty hands-on, you could then go and do a scalp massage or a hand and arm treatment while the mask is sitting on the skin. You're going to then take off the mask. And I like to put the mask back in here for a client to use another night. But one of the things I want to let you know about this particular product is that there is 1 ounce of the product in this pack. So this will last a client for up to a week being kept in the fridge. And there's enough to use almost twice a day. When Rachel and I travel, we do a lot of travel, especially when we go to the trade shows, we're working around the clock. I love to open one of these packs, and I like to put some of the serum. It's very velvety, very rich, very hydrating. I like to put it on my face in the morning underneath my makeup, and then at night before I go to bed. So just make sure you're not tossing this after you've used it in the treatment room, that you're saving it and sending it home with the client for further use. Okay, very, very important. Okay, so once this sheet mask is removed, you're just pressing in the product. You're not removing anything with a towel. It's going to stay on. Okay. Then you're going to go ahead and you are going to add the Hevatox Gold Eye Lift Cream. Okay. I like to put again around the eyes, above the eyes, crow's feet, between the 11 lines. Then you can go ahead and take your HOP Eye Lift Cream for plumping, apply a little bit to the lip area. And then we always finish during the day with our all mineral HOP sunscreen. That's just my go-to. I happen to love it because it works through Fitzpatrick 5. It's very hydrating, very decadent. Little goes a long way. It feels very moisturizing. The only time I don't apply a sunscreen is if it's actually nighttime. So right now it's dark here. So if I was finishing up a client at 8 p.m. in Wisconsin during the fall and winter, I would skip the sunscreen. I also tell my clients not to watch for the next 12 hours. Let all of that goodness keep working. Okay. And then they're going to cleanse the next day. So that is our protocol. I'm going to just give you a quick little information, like an info reel here on the Auto MTS device that we use for our nanotechnology. So for those of you who have not seen this device yet, this is a lovely heavy duty pen. It has 3 different heads available. So in this picture, this is a really great picture. It shows you on the far right, the nano head, which does not break skin. Okay. So even though I use it and I crank it to the 2.5 needle depth, it's just so that it's well above the surface of the cartridge here. It's going to be really intense. We have 5 levels of intensity, okay, 5 speeds. And this thing is like 120,000 like RPMs. It's quite kicked up. Okay. So when you're going and you're working with that gold ampule, it's going to further assist the penetration of the product. So again, we're using our cold plasma, we're using our nanotechnology, and we're using our galvanic technology, again, separate from the technology that's already embedded in the technology with the SP1 delivery system. So again, this is why there's so many different factors, and not just looking at molecule size, but so many different factors that we take into account when we're looking at product penetration and efficacy and how it's going to deliver results. So the far left one, you're going to see that is a 42 needle cartridge. The middle one is a 12 needle cartridge. We have a really great little tutorial Rachel and I came up with on how to tell you when to use which. But again, for those of you who can't use microneedling, or just for this protocol, because of the gold flakes, we're not going to recommend microneedling, but you definitely can use nano. So we just wanted to show you this device. And, reach out to us if you want more information. I have used other devices in the past that were not as effective. This one also stays plugged in to the wall outlet, so it maintains the same amount of electrical current coming through. So it has the same amount of power that we want throughout the entire procedure. Okay, now we are going to open it up for Q&A. So take a moment to go ahead and to ask your questions in the chat if you haven't already done so. Rachel's going to start reading them. I'm going to turn off the slides here, come back to you, and start answering any of the questions that you guys have. So take it away, you guys. Rachel, I'm here to answer questions.
Okay. Mixing the gold ampule with HOP cavi, or there's people out there that are mixing it with their promoter repair moisturizer. What are our thoughts on that versus layering?
You could do that. So for those of you, I've used a brand called PCA Skin for a long time. And we know they would talk about in their layering process, they would have all these different actives and they would be like, oh, let's pump this, put this on, pump this, put this on, right? As long as the consistency is similar. So remember that when we're applying product, it's thinnest to thickest. Okay. So as long as the consistency is relatively the same, I'm okay with that. So I probably would be okay with mixing the gold ampule, for example, with probably the cavi, because the consistency is going to be similar. The consistency for the repair moisturizer is thicker. So I always want to go thinnest to thickest, especially if you want to get maximum benefit. So consider that. So when I was working with like my PCA stuff, if I had a group of actives that were similar in terms of consistency, I would just pump a bunch of them in my hands. I'd massage, apply topically to the face. So that would be my suggestion for you guys.
Okay. And then, just to reiterate that the HOP cleansing mousse is not out yet. That's on the horizon, but we were able to share that with you guys.
The HOP cleansing mousse should be out in the next couple of weeks. So we're really, really excited. We're just finishing up the packaging for it, but it's going to be called the Pro Volumizing Mousse, a gentle daily cleanser packed with lots of goodness. We're really excited for that.
Okay. And then about refrigerating the gold ampule after you open it.
The gold ampule does not need to be refrigerated. So I just keep it like this on my counter in my bathroom. And also just to let you guys know, a little tip, and we're going to talk a little bit about sampling. We had talked about this, Rachel and I, but typically the Hevatox products, with the exception of the eye cream, I have sampled the eye cream for people to try because I noticed they can see results probably within a week or so. When you're looking at the topical neurotoxins in general, though, like the lifting, the firming pads, even though I notice a little bit like a change starting within a week, it's a harder product like the gold ampule to actually sample for people to see results because it's cumulative and it depends if they're using it once a day or twice a day with how fast that change is going to be noticed. So yes, you could sample, but again, I would rather, let clients know if you're going to sample, it's more to see if they have any, reaction or something to it, which so far we haven't had anybody that has had that. But typically in this one, it takes a little bit longer to notice. But that being said, for travel purposes, I just want to let you know that I'm really a big fan of getting little 3 ml, 5 ml little plastic containers, or you can get like little 3 ml dropper vials. And we go ahead and I put my little gold ampule in there in my little, sometimes I get these little 10 ml plastic containers and I cut my little Hevatox pads into quarters. So I travel a lot, usually 2 weeks, sometimes at a time, 2.5 weeks. And I do not want to be without my products. So just to let you guys know that, if you don't want to, since you're keeping this in your bathroom like this, that you can pull some out and put it in other containers for travel or for sampling if you wanted to do that.
Mm-hmm. Is there a webinar for the HOP products?
Yes, we have several webinars actually. So we have a video demo and a webinar just on the needle-free filler facial itself, Q&A. We also a couple weeks ago did an entire class just on the HOP home care products. So we have that all available for you guys.
Yeah, and Lynn, I'm not sure I posted it yet, but if I haven't, I will this week. We have a YouTube channel, the Esty Sisters, and we are posting some of these Zoom classes on there. So if we're not your rep, you could look there for the full access to those videos. And then if we are your rep, we also post them in our Facebook group.
And Lydia is trying to put more on the website as well. So as we get these videos done, even like today's, she'll be putting them on the website. So you should be able to find more information there as well.
Can I dispense the gold ampule in a dish when I'm in the treatment room? And how much can I charge for the facial?
You could. I just like to make sure, you mean after you've measured it out, you could. But one of the tips is if you actually kept it in here and then just put it in a dish and didn't pour it out, is if you didn't need the full ampule or the full syringe, you can actually put it back in here. Whereas once you put it in a dish, you probably wouldn't pour it back into your vial. So yes, you could do that, but I probably wouldn't. And thanks for reminding me about the pricing. Okay, so because it's so brand new, I would definitely probably charge close to what I do for the needle-free filler facial. So my needle-free filler facial currently is $250. And so I'm going to be charging around the $225, $250 for this treatment as well. Now, especially if you're using the Dr. Platon. So for those of you who are using the Dr. Platon cold plasma device, those treatments in and of themselves are valued at quite, a bit. Like I charge $99 for a 20-minute treatment. So that's going to be more. If you were doing the tonisher, you probably could do maybe a $200 treatment, something like that. But again, this is going to be a really nice power pack treatment, especially if you're using the various modalities, microcurrent, ultrasound, galvanic, nano. So definitely going to be closer to the 200 mark. Something just to keep in mind, fortunately, the cartridges, the nano cartridges. So I know some of you use different companies, different devices, and the cartridges can be quite expensive. The 20 pack of the nano cartridges from AO Medical is $150 for a 20 pack of the nano cartridges. So very affordable. And actually you can get the pen along with the 20 pack of cartridges and a 5 pack of the Pileo growth factor ampules that can be used for nano or microneedling. Very affordable. And, but that's good to know so that your cost per treatment doesn't have to be super high for this. To keep in mind, the Hevatox, if I'm using one full syringe, I bet you could get probably 10 syringes out of this. Okay. So it's going to be super cost effective also for you to use in the treatment room. So thinking instead of buying a separate ampoule. So that's very nice to know as well.
Would you combine the Hevatox into the filler facial?
You could. It's already kind of an expensive, more expensive treatment. You could, I guess. But for me, I usually separate them a little bit. And this is what we've been doing. So I tend to do a needle-free filler facial for the plumping. I use all my modalities to encourage plumping. And then 2 weeks later, I like to do some kind of a firming and tightening treatment, whether that's the Ultra V-line treatment, that could be this Hevatox treatment. I like to alternate the two treatments. Otherwise, that treatment starts to get really, really long and costs more, but I feel like it would be more beneficial to spread it out. Also, I just feel like the polylactic acid that you're using with the Pileo mask is such a powerful ingredient that we really want to make sure that penetrates and adheres. And I'd rather not dilute it so much with other product at the same time. So that would be just my personal preference. I mean, you guys could go ahead and try it and see what you think. But again, I probably would stagger it and alternate more of a lifting, firming facial 2 weeks apart in between my needle-free filler facials.
Okay, and then I can probably take this question. I get overwhelmed when I go to the website. Are there any starter sampler kits? Give me a couple of products. I'm already using most of the line, bought the HETOX Gold. If we are your rep, you guys reach out to us, thesdsisters.com. There's a link for book a discovery call. You can also reach out to us on Instagram, also email at sdsisters.aomed, MED, USA.com. And we'd be happy to walk through anything you want to talk about and help you. And then if you have a rep, another rep, please seek their help, because they're there for you to answer those questions as well.
And there is a starter kit for the HOP needle-free filler facial. It's called a starter pack. So there is that. And also there will be coming out very soon, because we've just introduced the gold Hevatox golden eye lip cream. It's a lip for the other one. We are going to be coming out very soon with a set of all three again. So for some of you who are familiar with the set when it first came out, the pads with the gold ampoule together, now we're going to have a nice 3-way set. So yes, there will be some things like that to really help you guys out, to really streamline.
Are the products safe for acne prone skin?
Yes.
How many treatments in one ampule and the pads in back bar? So
there's 55 pads in here. And so I would recommend for a treatment using one full pad. So you can say 55 treatments. So that's a lot, right? And then again, I haven't exactly measured this out, but if I measure this out, I would guess that I probably could get almost 10 of these syringes in here.
We have somebody new to the line. Where do we purchase this? AOMed website or SD Sisters website?
So the SD Sisters, for those of you wanting to sign up, brand new, you can reach out to us in here. We can send you the link, but on the SD Sisters website, it's www.thesdsisters.com. We have an AO Medical sign up form there. And then we take care of everything for you. We pre-qualify you and everything. It's very fast.
Yep, very fast. And then you can also, again, set up a call from there as well. The facial Lynn we're talking about, is it an hour or 90 minutes?
I would say it's probably going to be an hour, unless you guys are adding extra facial massage. So some people want to add that extra pampering and stuff in there, but a lot of times when I'm doing these focused treatments, even the needle-free filler facial, I'm just going in and they're still on a heated bed. I still use aromatherapy. When the mask is on, I do a hand and arm massage, but I'm not really doing that extra 20-minute massage. So I would say an hour would be fine.
How soon after doing the needle-free filler facial would you recommend using the Hevatox line?
Oh, the line can be even the next day if you mean home care. But in terms of my treatments in the treatment room, what I love to do is I love to schedule what I call my building treatments 2 weeks apart. So unless I'm doing something where a client's coming in, let's just say for some cold plasma modality work, which I might have them come in once a week. But if I'm usually doing facial treatments for building, meaning wanting to build volume and tighten and firm, I'm staggering them 2 weeks apart. So I would do like a needle-free filler facial today. And then in 2 weeks, I would do either, prior to this new treatment, I was doing the V-line firming facial, but then you could do this new Hevatox one as well. So I would alternate and stagger 2 weeks apart if I was doing the treatments. But home care should be fine to just start the next day. When you're doing the needle-free filler facial, you guys, you got to make sure that the client, or if you're using the Pileo growth factor ampule, like if you nanoed or microneedle, they are not supposed to get any water on the skin for 12 hours. So that's kind of so you would start whatever, as long as it's after 12 hours.
Okay. Do any products contain hydroquinone?
No.
And then how long does the ampule last once opened?
So they last about 12 months, but most of us are using this up way faster than that. Yeah.
Able to share the difference between the new gold Hevatox eye lift cream versus the Dr. SD detox? I used to recommend HOP for hollowing and then Dr. SD for other skin concerns.
Yeah. So what was really exciting is that when we were formulating the new Hevatox product, we were also looking at the Skimbolic gold one that had the gold in it, right? It had some really nice, awesome antioxidant ingredients in there. And then we had the CETOX that had the coffee extract and the retinol in there. So basically, we took our favorite things from those and added to our Hevatox active ingredients. So we pulled the gold, our antioxidants, we pulled instead of retinol, because it was really important, Rachel and I wanted to make sure that we had retinaldehyde instead of retinol. So the CETOX cream actually has retinol. And I wanted something that could be used twice a day and could be used by people with sensitive skin. So the gold, the caffeine, the retinaldehyde, that's in the Hevatox. So it's going to basically be a great replacement for anybody that was using the Skimbolic gold eye cream and or the CETOX. And then it has like a bazillion other great ingredients in it as well. So
Okay, so in place of the gold sheet mask that we talked about, you talked about in the protocol, the back bar facial protocol, can we use the gold powder jelly mask? So can you substitute?
okay, so the reason why I probably wouldn't use a jelly mask is because usually with a jelly mask, you guys have residue and you want to wipe that off, right? Well, we don't want to wipe off any of this product. So whatever you're going to use, it's not going to be something that you're wiping off because we're leaving all of this stuff on. Okay, if that makes sense. So if you want to use a different sheet mask, you could go ahead and do that. Just remember that if you're going to use Time Master Pro, for example, it can only be on a biocellulose mask. For those of you working with AO Medical, the only two biocellulose masks they have is the Exoderm biocellulose mask and then the new 24 karat gold one. And this one, by the way, again, if you haven't tried this yet, the serum is velvety. It is luxurious. Your clients will love this. This is going to be a fabulous Christmas present. If you have really good clients and you want to gift them something really amazing to use for a week, say here, have a phenomenal holiday week and look great between Christmas and New Year's. This is going to be a phenomenal gift. Put a bow on it, send them out the door with that. Okay. So if you don't have this right now, use a different sheet mask, but definitely don't put something on that you would need to remove, meaning with water. I just want to say, I know some people have been popping off a little bit, but meaning leaving. But we want to make sure that you guys, we always love feedback from you guys. So if there are class topics that you want us to cover, something to do a little different, just let us know because this is how we, figure out what to bring to you guys. So don't forget to share in the chat for us before you leave as well.
Is there any need to refrigerate the ampule in your treatment room to preserve it between services? Yeah.
No. And that's the same thing for your clients at home. This is how it's going to sit on their counter. So no need to be researched. The only product we have, you guys, that would be refrigerated, it's not even the Pileo mask. That one can be just set in room temperature. The only one that needs to be refrigerated that lasts 7 days is the HOP Pileo growth factor ampule. That little guy, once it's open, lasts for 7 days and needs to be refrigerated. But all the other products are shelf stay, so temperature safe.
Is the Hevatox treatment that you talked about replacing the V-line treatment ultimately? Or when would you use one over the other?
So I would say right now, I feel that my V-line is really super lifting and tightening. Would this one do the same ultimately? It is tightening, right? It's supposed to firm and tighten. I guess it could replace it. We're going to have to really try. So again, this is a new protocol that I have. Right now, I have been successfully alternating the two. So it just depends whether or not. I think this is going to be a little bit longer lasting because we're going to be really penetrating that topical neurotoxin to the skin. So I think they're going to have a little bit different. I think that maybe the V-line will have a little less longevity, but still really great results. It's going to be something that needs to be more maintenance. But I think that if we did this and we had the clients on topical products at home, I think that this one ultimately could be a little bit longer lasting. So I think that they might see initial firming more readily from the V-line. So a more initial reaction. But longer term, I think that if you're doing these treatments, maybe every 2 weeks, I think that longer term, it's going to build and the client's going to see that more longevity with the firming, if that makes sense.
Okay. If you're sending that mask home with people, do you suggest they use it every day that week following their service?
Yes, because I don't know how long, the serum is going to really last in terms. So I have them keep it in the fridge. So I have it folded up. You can put it in a little baggie. keep it in the fridge and use it. And it's just lovely. They don't necessarily have to keep using the actual mask itself. There's so much product. There's literally an ounce of serum in here, you guys, of great, great serum. I mean, it's got everything from all your peptides. It's got your snow mushroom in here. It's got your niacinamide, your retinaldehyde, your gold, your polylactic acid, propolis extract. So it's just so packed with goodness. So definitely have the clients, if they're not going to use the mask itself again, just have them use the product that's in here. But I would say a week would be the shelf life in there and kept in the fridge.
Can you use the Time Master Pro device after you take off the sheet mask as opposed to using it on top of the sheet mask?
Yeah, I'm not sure how much slip there's going to be left, depending on how much product. I know you're going to get a lot of slip with doing it on top of the sheet mask. So remember, when you're working with ultrasound, you need to have that conducting agent. So you just want to make sure that you have enough product. So I guess if you took some more product out and put it on the face and then did it that way, as long as you have enough product, just to make sure for conductivity. But again, this is my thing. I'm always maximizing time with my client. So if that sheet mask is left on for 10 minutes or 15 minutes, then I'm not doing like an additional 10 minutes with the Time Master Pro. I'm kind of doing the 2-in-1. So that would be more of my thought process with that.
Speak more on the gold mask.
You just want to know what it is. I can just take 2 seconds here. I mean, to tell you a couple minutes. Okay. So this mask, again, the HOP product line, the common denominator in all of the HOP House of PLA products is polylactic acid, which is a biostimulator to stimulate collagen. It's the same ingredient that is in some biostimulating injectables. Okay. It also has growth factors in here. So those are the common denominators in all of the products. In this particular mask, we have a lot of great ingredients, but I'm just going to spell out the key ones here. Just list out the key ones. Gold. We've got the retinaldehyde. We've got the Centella asiatica extract. We've got niacinamide, royal jelly powder. We've got the dermaclara. For those of you not, these are also very anti-inflammatory. There's all about repairing the skin's barrier as well. We've got the snow mushroom, which is the natural form of kojic. So it's gonna help with plumping, brightening, lightly exfoliating, hydrating, improving impaired barrier. So lots of goodness. We've got all our growth factors, and then we have the adenosine, which is to help reduce the appearance of wrinkles as well in the skin. So lots of goodness in this mask. And again, the serum goes on like a very velvety texture, so it's not watery. It definitely is substantial.
Can anyone break out from using the gold mask?
We haven't had anybody have that. It's been around since early this summer. And so far I haven't heard any negative reactions from the mask.
Yep. And good for sensitive skin also.
Yep. And that's why, again, when we're formulating these products, we're really trying to put as many ingredients in there that are anti-inflammatory, wound healing, very good for sensitized skin. So we're very cognizant of the fact that even if you're trying to have something, and someone I saw that just popped up that mentioned something about the Tiffany peel, which is a whole different, we'll probably do a whole presentation on spicules at some point. But while we use these buffering ingredients so that it's very gentle and very good for even the most sensitized skin, which is very nice.
Does the mask stay put if you're moving around the TMP on it?
It's stuck pretty well. And then you just gently go, yep.
Yeah, it is surprising how easy that is. Yep. Else, did I miss anything? I believe I covered everything.
Again, feedback is appreciated. If you guys have topics of what you guys want us to come up with for classes, we're thinking of considering, so we'll probably do one on spicules. We'll probably do one on some Dr. SD products, but we also have classes that we've already done, you guys, on acne, on melasma and hyperpigmentation, on rosacea, on the glass facial. So we have a lot of classes that we've already done. Most of those are already on YouTube. But again, if there's something that you are needing specifically for your business and you're needing support with, like, okay, overwhelmed, don't know where to start, or how do I incorporate something else into my practice? That's where you're going to want to schedule a call with us. The calls are complimentary for those we work with. So it's on the sdsisters.com. For those of you who are on here that do not have an account yet, you just let us know and we're going to go ahead and we can send you the link, or it's on the SD Sisters site for your free account. There's no minimums or anything, and there's no charge to get an account, which is very refreshing because, as many of you know, a lot of companies require you to purchase a significant amount when you first sign up with them, and that's not the case here. You can even buy one product just to try it. And Rachel and I, by the way, For those of you that the Hevatox products are new for you, we definitely recommend, like always, being a product of the product. So get a couple products, try it on yourself, do your own before and after, do your own research. That's what Rachel and I did with the HOP products. I fell in love. And Rachel didn't mention, but literally that Hevatox or the HOP Cavi serum, that was my first product that I tried. After, I think it was like a few weeks, a month, 2 months, Rachel kept saying, well, did you try the other products? And I'm like, no, because I was so loving that Cavi serum because I kept seeing changes happening over and over, just more changes, more changes. So I was so excited. So again, we need to be products of product in order to sell, because our customers, we're going to have way more credibility, right? If we really believe in what we're selling because we see the results, on ourselves or our family members, for example. And if you don't have a rep, anybody who does not have a rep who's working with AO Medical, we would love to have you join us. We're here for you guys. So just reach out or let us know in the group, and then we'll connect directly with you guys. Remember also that whenever you're purchasing over 200, you get free shipping. Whenever you're purchasing over 500, remember to add your free gifts with purchase. So what that is in the drop-down menu, it's going to say free gift with dollar amount. We've have a bunch of people that still forget that, or you guys purchase right below, like let's say right below 500 or right below 1,000. Remember that the free gifts are amazing. And some of the free gifts, like if you spend 1,000, you actually get the Hevatox gold ampule and the pads that you can resell. So that is a really awesome free gift that brings down your expenses. And it's all about, one of my favorite things that I like to communicate to people about when I'm doing my business coaching is, we always focus on how much revenue is coming in, but we forget that it really has a lot to do with how much revenue is going out. So if we can minimize expenses and really, take advantage of those free gifts, free shipping, or whatever, and then we have those to retail, we're going to end up increasing our profit margins at the end, which is really wonderful.
When will the Hevatox moisturizer be out?
We're hoping the end of the year or the beginning of next year, but it's lovely. We're going to be beyond excited for you guys. Another good idea, anytime you guys can't find a particular product or you're just not knowing where to go, like who makes it, in the search bar on the AO Medical website, just type in Revital Gold, for example, and then it'll pop up. Or modeling masks. You type in modeling mask and all of them will pop up. Okay, any last minute comments? I'll keep the recording going just so I can collect all the chat information. Otherwise, thank you so much for joining us today, you guys.